Welcome back to the warm up, guys. I'm your host, Josh.
And I'm Kaylin.
All right. Sorry for the delay, everyone. We were on vacation, but we're back now. So today we're going to talk about the Celtics winning the finals, Jaylen Brown winning Finals MVP, and then we're also going to dive into the Lakers hiring JJ Redick and what that could potentially mean, and then what type of assistance you're going to surround him with because he has no coaching experience.
Yes. So the last game of the finals we watched when we were on vacation. So what were your thoughts on the whole series and that final game?
The Celtics just winning in general, kind of felt like a dumb moment, kind of like the Nuggets winning last year.
Like it just makes sense.
It makes sense. I mean, like the Nuggets last year, they're the best team all regular season, best team throughout the playoffs. And for the Celtics, I mean, I know they're a lot of people aren't going to give them the credit that they probably deserve because of like the injuries that their opponents had and the type of team that is assembled around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But for me, it was like a duh. It was like, okay, yeah, they won 64 games in the regular season. They were the best team. They lost to the Nuggets twice in the regular season, so everyone still had the Nuggets probably as the favorites. But throughout, I mean, the Celtics just proved everybody wrong, and for the Celtics, they weren't probably going to get the respect that they deserved until they won. So I'm happy to see them win.
Yeah, I definitely thought that the chemistry with the Celtics team was so much stronger than the Mavs team. I thought that their chemistry and the way that they all played together was very connected, and it made them a much stronger team overall.
Yeah, especially their chemistry in years past, because I know when they traded Marcus Smart, which is considered their heart and soul of the team, last summer for Kristaps Porzingis, a lot of people were like, "Oh, who's going to fill that gap? Who is going to fill?" But like from watching the broadcast, they had like Jaylen Brown mic'd up, and he was a huge like vocal leader in the locker room. You could tell on and off the court. So shout out to Jaylen Brown for stepping up for sure and taking on that void that was left. And then when they traded for Porzingis, leaving that hole, they ended up getting Drew Holiday from the Trailblazers from the Dame trade. So from the Celtics side, it was just a masterpiece of front office work all around. Yeah. They had the by far the best team, and then they won. So shout out to them for sure. So
yeah, I thought it was a really cool series to watch. And then Jaylen Brown got the Finals MVP. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it was the right person to win Finals MVP. I'm a big Jaylen Brown guy. I have been since Cal, since he was in Cal. But for me, I thought he should have won. But I do think Tatum closed that gap in Game 5 because they both had bad Game 4s. But for Jaylen Brown, I mean, he's picking up the best player in Luka the whole game, 94 feet. He's shooting, he's leading the team almost in scoring. I mean, you can't ask much more from your superstar. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, he's locking up the best player. And not to say Tatum didn't lock, like he did his role because by putting him on the two big men, then it stopped all their alley oops. And that's, I mean, they led the playoffs in alley oops by like 50 that compared to the next team, which I think was Denver at like 9. So I thought Tatum also had a good role, but I think Brown's consistency defensively and offensively really changed the series in the Celtics' favor.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There was a lot more consistency from Jaylen Brown. I personally, I am a pretty big Jason Tatum fan, but I totally see why Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP because it's about the whole. It's about all those games. It's not just about the last game or one game or 10 minutes of a game. So I totally get it.
Yeah, I think for the Celtics too, going into next year, just having like that monkey off your back type thing, I think they'll come in a lot more relaxed. They know what it takes to win. Yeah. And I think when they got like now they're all like veterans in winning. So like going into the last season, it was just Drew Holiday. And Drew Holiday he's a great player, but he's the only person that won the championship. They never had that championship experience, which I think matters with a team that's as young as they are, with two superstars as young as they are.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I think it'll be interesting going into next year how they attempt the regular season because I know Porzingis is gonna have off-season surgery.
Yeah.
So for him, what's it look like when he gets back? Because I doubt he starts the regular season in October. So it's a matter of when he comes back and if he could get into a rhythm and go from there.
Do you see them potentially going this far next season, or I guess it all depends on a lot of different factors? But
I mean, right now I would bet them to win again, but there's been a new champion for the past 6 years, so
yeah,
I honestly don't know. Depends. I mean, this offseason could be crazy. I'm curious to see what Philadelphia does. They have all this cap space. They have Embiid. They have Maxey. Their thing is health and who they put around those two superstars for their health. The Knicks are good. I think the Knicks would have rivaled the Celtics just on how their style play, but as you can see, they run out because of the type of coaching Tibbs does for them, just running them into the ground. The Bucks, hopefully Damon Giannis could figure that out.
Yeah.
And they could get some better pieces around them instead of just names. Because I think we're in like this NBA stage where instead of just having like a player's name value, it's all about skill set more than the name value.
Yeah.
So I think they could find some more people that fit the skill set around those two. They have a chance. Because what's so funny is even in the finals, Tatum or Brown weren't the best players on the court. It was Luka. And so going into a series, you'll always take the best player on the court.
Okay.
You'll like their chances a lot more. So in the case if they play against the Bucks, Giannis is by far the best player on the court.
Right.
If they play against the 76ers, Joel Embiid's by far the best player on the court. So for them, but in saying that, the other team might have the best player on the court, but the Celtics have the next 5 or next 6 best players.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah. So that like kind of balances.
So it'll be
out.
interesting. I would probably bet them to win again, just as of right now, before the draft, before free agency.
Right. In this moment.
But talk to me in a month and a half once we get some trades, some free agencies, the draft going.
Yeah.
Could be very interesting.
All likely to change.
But I do think having the continuity going into next year also benefits them even more because they know how to win. They know what it takes to win.
Yeah, for
they know everyone knows their roles.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And they have that adrenaline, from like winning the championship. You want to keep that.
Yeah.
Keep that going.
Yeah, they know what it takes.
Yeah, and their fans were insane. That was something we talked about every game. The Celtics fans were absolutely insane. I feel like the Mavs fans, like, they weren't as hype as the Celtics fans.
Yeah, once they went down, going into game 3, I thought the fans were pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think going into game 4, they got into it once they were up, but going into the game, they're like, well, go out there and have fun, kids. Like, it wasn't like a...
Yeah. Okay, so there was some other breaking news while we were on our trip. The Lakers hired JJ Redick. So what do you think about that?
All right. So as a Laker fan, hiring JJ Redick, I feel like to me, knowing the landscape of the coaching market, I didn't mind the move. Obviously, when a name like Dan Hurley gets thrown around, you're kind of like intrigued by that because of what he's done at UConn, being a back-to-back champion.
Yeah.
But then having a guy like JJ Redick, I think he'll just do everything tactically to really make sure he's a great coach. And I think for us Laker fans, what we're concerned about the most is the unknown because he's never coached, and the unknown is scary. But I think he has a low floor out of any coaches because he's never done it. But I think he has potentially to have a really high ceiling because I think when you bring in a guy who's been out of the NBA for only like 3 years, he's kind of modernized. He knows how the new NBA works and how, like, the Lakers, like, for example, last year were pretty efficient on their threes, but they were like third to last in attempts. So maybe if we could up some of our, like, unlike the Celtics, who their whole philosophy is getting up a bunch of threes and making them.
Yeah.
So, but that's also a personnel issue. So I think just bringing in some things to modernize our offense, while like a big emphasis that the Lakers said why they liked him was Anthony Davis getting involved in the fourth quarter, because we've seen so many games of Anthony Davis having like 30 points through 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter he takes one shot.
Yeah.
That can't happen when he's your best player on the court most nights.
Yeah.
With LeBron. So I do like the move though. I'm excited to see where it goes. I think it'll be. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. But with all that said, the Lakers' issue wasn't entirely their coach. It's their roster. They need to get more athletic in the backcourt. They need a big man next to AD that can play with AD and without AD. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, there are a lot of other moves that need to happen besides just hiring a new coach.
Exactly. And for them, like for me, like I saw JJ get hired. I'm like, oh, it's kind of whatever because I think though Rob Pelinka especially will be judged on what he does with the roster, not so much as the coach.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, and especially, with free agency and everything coming up.
Yeah.
So when we talk about JJ Redick, we also have to talk about, the rest of the coaching staff that surrounds him. So what are kind of your thoughts? And are there any like assistant coaches that we know that he's wanting to bring on?
So a report came out saying Rajon Rondo, who won with the Lakers back in the bubble, great relationship with AD and LeBron, especially AD. I feel like I've been hearing Rondo being an assistant for the Lakers for the last 3 years, ever since he left the Lakers. So I think that would be good. But then again, I think you can tie that in with some experienced people that have been former head coaches. Right. Scott Brooks is a name that's been around. Maybe Terry Stotts. He left the Bucks last year for some reason. I don't know, maybe seeing if Kenny Atkinson would be an assistant. He's currently with the Warriors, but he's been getting job interviews with the Cavs and the Hornets as well. So just from that standpoint, knowing that I think for him, as long as there's veteran assistant coaches surrounding JJ, I think it'll be easier for us Laker fans, knowing instead of having just a bunch of rookie unknown assistants with a rookie unknown coach. That'll help him minimize the mistakes, because obviously he's going to make mistakes. He's a first timer, but I think minimizing those mistakes could go a long way, especially in the Western Conference like the Lakers are in, because one win, one loss against whatever team could make or break you making the play-in, the playoffs, or just being a top 6 seed. So
for sure. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. He just, like you were saying, he knows the modern sport of basketball. And then also with his, I guess, old job now, he was so involved in so many other aspects of basketball that, maybe that'll make him more well-rounded or something. It'll be interesting to kind of see how that all plays out.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right, especially, but I know a lot of people are going to say, what's his relationship with how the other players are going to look at him, because him and LeBron do have that friendship and relationship with having that podcast together, and that's LeBron's guy. And
do you think they're still going to do the podcast?
No, there's no way you can, because I only say that because they talk about other teams and other players, and they don't want to get aggregated in talking about a player and then, he's on the Lakers next year. You know what I'm saying? So I think the podcast stops, but I do think it'll be important to see what AD thinks of him and how involved AD is, because AD had a hell of a year last year.
Yeah, he had
despite,
a great season.
Everything that happened. And you could tell he lost faith in Darvin Ham too, especially after game 2 when he said, we don't know what we're doing half the time. So that sucks.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I think that, a really important thing is creating that chemistry.
Yeah.
And bonding and stuff with the coaches and the players and creating that trust. I think that'll be really important.
One of my main hopes I have for I think JJ is going to implement an offense and a defensive scheme where on offense, we're running plays. It's not just a LeBron AD pick and roll, Austin Reeves AD pick and roll. We're running pin downs, we're running DHOs, we're running all these other things that could make our offense just different.
That'd be cool to see.
Because you watch a team like the Celtics play, how many passes they have before a shot goes up, or you watch even the Warriors play and the amount of ball movement that goes around with them. Yeah. The Lakers, we could get really stagnant at times with just LeBron and AD. And with LeBron turning 40 by the end of this year, I think designing an offense that can make him play off the ball more in the regular season, and then surrounding him with personnel like shooters and defensive wings that are both 3 and D.
Mhm.
Because I feel like this year we had a lot of one-sided players. Like we had Rui, he's more offense. He's not really a
Right.
defender. We had Vanderbilt, gives you nothing on
Yeah.
offense but great on defense.
Yeah.
Torian Prince, we had him guarding the best player when that's never been his role.
Yeah.
But he's a good 3-point shooter. He's a good defender. He's not the best, but you need more of those two-way type players.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting to see what Rob Pelinka and even JJ now. I feel like if they give him a little, if they give him some input, I mean, I could see them keeping the pick on Wednesday
Yeah.
for the draft instead of trading it. Now, depending on who's there, I would like them to trade it because
Right.
we're trying to win a championship. It's hard to find those people, those rookies that just come in and make immediate impact. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see how all of that plays out. And I think
I think that'll be it.
So that'll be it for our episode today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, do all the things. All right. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.